We'll now call the meeting into order. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. You're up, Tony. Student liaison.
Student Liaison, Hope Moran.
Here today. I'm here to give an update on what's been going on in our school community as we wrap up the year. Beginning with academics, this week is finals week, and students are focused on finishing strong. All state testing and retaking has been completed, which is a big milestone not only for students but our staff. The last day of school is coming up soon, Monday, June 16th, marking the official end to what has been a productive and successful school year. We recently held class nights where students from classes of 2025 and 2026 were honored with class and book awards. For our seniors, we also hosted CTC Senior Night, the Athletic Banquet, and the National Honor Society Awards Night, recognizing outstanding achievements and contributions both across academics, athletics, and service. These events were meaningful celebrations that brought our community together and highlighted the dedication and talent of our students. On the social side of things, we also held our annual fashion show featuring student-designed pieces modeled by fellow students. It was a great display of creativity and collaboration, with student Ty Messier DJing the entire event and keeping the energy high throughout the night. All senior activities have come to a close. This includes memorable events like Senior Sunset, the Senior Cookout, and more. These events gave seniors a well-deserved celebration of their time here. Graduation also took place at Pierce Field this Friday and was a huge success, with our weather graciously holding out. It was a beautiful ceremony full of townie pride and emotion. The atmosphere was a true reflection of the hard work and dedication of the class of 2025. Now for athletics, where we had an incredible season across the board. As you probably know, the girls lacrosse team had a historic run, going completely undefeated and finishing as Division III champions, an outstanding achievement. Our unified basketball team had a strong season, making its way to the D2 championship game and putting on a great performance. Softball fought hard and advanced to the final 6 teams in Division I. Boys tennis made an impressive playoff push, reaching semifinals after losing 18 seniors. In golf, one of our standout athletes, Noah Arujo, qualified for the state tournament. Baseball had a solid season as they advanced to the second round of playoffs. And finally, both our boys and girls track team had a successful season with strong performances across the board. A special shout out to Jack Pollock, who won the state championship with a 100-meter dash, an incredible individual achievement. All in all, it's been a year filled with academic progress, community spirit, and athletic excellence. We're proud of all of our students and grateful to the teachers, coaches, staff, and families who support them every step of the way. Thank you again for your time and continued support of our school.
Thank you. Next item.
Health and Wellness presentation.
Great. who is a director with SNAP Education and who led the Students Take Charge program at Hennessy Elementary. And alongside Stephanie, we will hear from Principal Tony Napolitano and 2 student liaisons to talk about their experience. Before we get into those presentations, I wanted to share with you an infographic that was created by the Health and Wellness Committee. It's on page 4 of your packet. And essentially, this infographic was created to highlight the new health and wellness policy. It was revised recently with student input after some team feedback and was presented at our last committee meeting. Our plan is to share this in the fall for all all incoming families, all current families, so that they can have like a quick one-page snapshot of the policy. The additional edits that we plan to make will be like applying some clickable, clickable items in there, so folks can see this one page. They can click on the item. It takes them right to the health and wellness policy pages that they might be looking for, and continue to refine. So this is really just, I don't want to say the final edit, but it is a very close, like, final draft of where we want it to be. And it's part of one of our main initiatives, I think, as a health and wellness committee, but also as a school committee, is really like increasing the family engagement and communication. And this is really was taken, like, these measures were taken with like that in the back of our mind, to allow for our families to have easier access to our policies and standards that we have in our district. So that's really what the attempt is with this infographic, that we're just going to be sharing out student newsletters from all the principals in the district, being able to push it through our social media accounts, and to really expand that access. So I really would encourage you to just, take some time after this evening, just kind of look through. If you have any feedback or comments, things that you think might be really applicable to this that we can add in, kick me a note. We can have a conversation and continue that conversation before, I believe, an August deadline that we're going to start pushing it out via email to our families. And so with further ado, I'd love to invite Karin Weatherall up to talk, who's the director of the Rhode Island Healthy Schools Coalition, to talk a little bit about that partnership that we have with the East Providence School Department.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I'm happy to be here tonight, I am a member of the East Providence District Wellness Committee, as well as the Rhode Island Healthy Schools Coalition provides guidance and technical assistance to all districts and district wellness committees throughout the state. We work very closely with the state departments of education, Department of Health, and then a number of community partners statewide and national. So a lot of the work that I was participating in this past year with East Providence, and over, as Ryan said, the last few years looking at policy, a lot of the regulatory work, making sure that the District Wellness Committee has the tools and resources they need to be compliant with federal and state regulations, but then probably more important, what does that look like in your schools? What resources are out there for collaboration, to be able to offer them and opportunities within your school. So this past year, we've been working with the Department of Education on a USDA grant called Students Take Charge, and we were looking for elementary schools to be able to pilot the program. And I immediately thought of Mrs. Napolitano at Hennessy, because we had worked together in the past, and she immediately said, would love to know more, and I'm going to let Stephanie Carlisle with the URI SNAP Ed program tell you more about that. But that's an example of a community partner, an opportunity that was brought to East Providence, and one of your staff members jumped on it, and you're going to hear from some of the students. So that's an example. One of the other things that I think that the committee did very well was really intentionally thinking about student engagement and student voice. So last year there were student representatives on the committee, and this year, before the real craziness of the end of the school year for high school students, as we just heard how busy they've been, the committee sent out an invitation to let high school students know, junior classmen, so that they could spend maybe a couple of years on the committee, know that this opportunity existed and come to find out more. And Stacy Messier who co-chairs the committee with Ryan, did a really great job of setting up a meeting for interested students to learn about what are the responsibilities. And then what I loved, what she said, was even more so on what the opportunity would mean for them. What is it that they might like to do in their community, and how could this help them further what some of their goals are? Because, right, it's so important for students to be active and to be on a state, we say, a district committee, and helping shaping policy and implementing that. So those are just some examples, but we're here, our website was there, we have loads of resources there, encourage anyone to look, but we'll be here to support the committee's work. So, Stephanie?
Additionally, I just wanted to point out to the committee on the slide with the Rhode Island Healthy Schools Coalition, I did throw in a few QR codes, so you can take some time. The QR code next to the website will take you right to their main page. The QR code underneath where it says EP Spotlight, we were actually spotlighted for the month of June in the most recent RIHSC's Spotlight, and to kind of with a really more in-detail overview of the students' voice being applied to the committee. And so it's a really nice read. So I would encourage you to check that out. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce you to Stephanie Carlisle, who's a community nutrition educator who spent at least 8 weeks at Hennessy Elementary School this year running the Students Take Charge program. So thank you, Stephanie.
Hi, thank you. Yes, so I am a registered dietitian and community nutrition educator with University of Rhode Island SNAP-Ed. So I'll just give you an overview of what the Students Take Charge program looks like, and I want to chat a little bit about my wonderful experience that I had at Hennessy Elementary School. So Students Take Charge is a program, it's been led by URI SNAP-Ed since 2017. And as of 2023, we're collaborating with RIDE, Farm Fresh Rhode Island, Johnson & Wales, and the Rhode Island Healthy Schools Coalition through a USDA Team Nutrition Grant to expand its reach and impact. So what we're working on is a toolkit that will allow teachers in all schools to access the lessons and then teach these on their own. And we're looking to incorporate more cultural inclusivity, and we're also looking to strengthen the connection between school meals, wellness policies, and then farm to school programs. So Students Take Charge is a really unique initiative that empowers fifth grade students to become wellness advocates in their schools. And this program really supports the adoption of healthy eating behaviors and then provides the students with the tools to positively influence the nutrition environment around them. And program goals include educating the students on the benefits of eating healthy, specifically, with a focus on fruits and vegetables. Students also were able to identify barriers to better nutrition and develop solutions that can be applied both in school and at home. And the program introduces students to their district's wellness committee and encourages connection and advocacy. And so the Students Take Charge program consists of 8 interactive in-class lessons for fifth grade students. And topics include My Plate and the 5 food groups, the importance and benefits of fruits and vegetables, local produce, seasonality, and supporting local farms, reading and writing recipes, and understanding marketing and the influence that it has on food choices. And during this program, students were able to collect and submit culturally relevant healthy recipes from home. They were able to taste test 2 recipes that were selected from those that were submitted, and then vote on a favorite as a class. They hosted a school-wide tasting event of the winning recipe, and students were able to advocate for the winning recipe to be featured regularly on the school lunch menu. And students were also able to work with program leads who supported them in writing letters to the Wellness Committee. We also encouraged them to attend the meetings if possible, and to read their letters and share their ideas or requests. So next slide, please. Thank you. So since January, I've been working with Hennessy Elementary School with the 5th grade students there. So there were 42 5th grade students. And the project officially wrapped up during the first week of May and was pretty well received by the students, teachers, school staff. This included this district's executive chef and food service team. And this project overall really helped build momentum for student-driven wellness efforts. And throughout the program, students wrote 2 letters to their wellness committee advocating for improvements to their school's nutrition environment. And I had the privilege of presenting these letters on their behalf and also inviting the committee members to attend key events such as Recipe Tasting Day. Students had the opportunity to meet and engage with the district's executive chef from Chartwells during 2 live cooking demonstrations, and the demos gave them a real hands-on personal connection to school meals and the people behind them. And to build excitement for Recipe Tasting Day, students created persuasive posters, stickers, and messages that encouraged their peers to try more fruits and vegetables. And their messaging focused on being brave, trying new things, and understanding the health benefits of eating fruits and veggies. In the week leading up to the event, they developed catchy slogans and jingles that were broadcast over the school's intercom, which really helped to energize the school committee. Recipe Tasting Day itself was a really big success. Students throughout the school were really excited and eager to participate. And there was just a real sense of energy in the cafeteria, and most kids were willing and excited to try the veggie stir fry. And the 5th grade students did a really awesome job encouraging the younger students to give it a shot by sharing how tasty and healthy the recipe was. And they showed a lot of teamwork and enthusiasm, and one thing that really stood out to me during Recipe Tasting Day was the pride that the students had in the work that they had been doing over the last few months. And to wrap up the program, each 5th grade student received a recipe booklet that featured all of the recipes that were submitted by the class. Students were really excited to see their families' recipes included, and it was just a really great way to celebrate their hard work and make the experience more meaningful. So it's been a really rewarding experience to watch these students become engaged and take ownership of their ideas, and then advocate for healthier changes in their schools. So some successes and opportunities. In terms of student leadership and empowerment, students took the lead in advocating for fruits and vegetable options through letters to the Wellness Committee, through posters, slogans, and public announcements, and many gained a lot of confidence in speaking up and sharing their ideas. The veggie stir-fry recipe voted on the 5th grade students was a huge hit, so 71% of the whole school said yes to trying this recipe and wanting to see it on the menu again. So it is now being added to the district menu thanks to the support from Chartwell's executive chef, Bill Lambert, and his team. The program really helped to strengthen relationships between students and food service staff, as well as the Wellness Committee. And I really want to highlight the engagement that the district's chef had with the kids in particular. Many of the kids already knew him, but Chef Bill went above and beyond by organizing the 2 hands-on food demos, which really gave students a chance to connect with him in a fun and meaningful way. I also want to mention that Mike Salitro, the PE and health teacher, and Tony Ann Napolitano, the principal, were so supportive of this program and just made the implementation of this program so simple. So we'll be hearing from Tony Ann and her experience in a little bit. And there was a lot of school-wide engagement. So students, again, created posters and stickers, catchy slogans, to promote fruits and veggies and to build excitement around Recipe Tasting Day, and their creativity helped to generate school-wide participation. As far as opportunities throughout or from this program, I think that we helped to encourage students talk with their family members about nutrition, recipes, and also what they learned during this program. After each lesson, we always sent newsletters home with family-friendly activities that encouraged continued learning and conversations at home. There was a real sense of peer leadership, so students acted as role models and motivators for one another and for their younger classmates. And then students really learned that they have the power to make change by sharing their ideas with adults and decision makers in their school. So if you go to the next slide, please. So here, I'd really love to share a few anecdotes from participants that illustrate the impact of this program. So during the school-wide recipe tasting day, students and staff shared the following. So this is coming from a second grader referencing the veggie stir fry. They should have this every day for lunch. And from a teacher's aide talking about one of the students trying the vegetable stir fry, he usually only eats pizza every day, but he tried the stir fry and liked it. And during the last day of class, students reflected on their overall experience from the Students Take Charge program. So 3 of the questions, well, the first one was, what did you like most about recipe day? And some of the classmates said it was a fun way to show everyone our winning recipe, especially because one of our classmates created it. And that classmate is here with us today, so we'll be hearing from her in a little while. We got to be role models for the school and convince others to try the recipe using the strategies we learned, like through slogans. And I liked trying new foods that I never would have picked out on my own. The second question was, why are projects like this important? And the kids answered, they help people make better choices with food and start healthy habits. It's important to try new things even if you're not sure you'll like them at first. And we got to help others live healthier, and that feels really good. The last question, what changes have you made at home as a result of this project? And the kids answered, now we keep more fruits in the fridge, and they're easy for me to grab. My dad eats more veggies now, and he used to hate them. I started adding more fruits and veggies to my meals. I started choosing fruit over candy, and I put fruit in my yogurt now, and it's actually really good. And I'd love for everybody to just take a look at this young boy in this photo. So Karin actually took this photo, so photo credit goes to her. But this boy actually became like quite a legend in class this day. He had, I think, like 9 plates of a kale salad that we sampled in class, and one of the teachers said that the kids were talking about it for like days and days. So I'm really happy that we captured that, so thanks, Karin. Next slide, please. All right, and this, I hope the sound works. This was a video that I had put together for the Wellness Committee about halfway through this program. So this features some video footage of one of the first food demos that Chef Bill did in the lunchroom, and this is when the 5th grade class voted on 2 of the recipes that were selected. So we have a ground beef zucchini bites, so this was submitted by Kaylin, one of the 5th graders, and then the second was the veggie stir fry, which was submitted by Jolie, who is here with us today. So I'm not sure if you can get the sound to work on that. And if not, if we go to that QR code, it will bring us to a YouTube page. Hello. Okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Thanks everyone for watching and for your patience. And now I'd love to invite Giovanna and Jolie up to the podium, and maybe Tony Ann as well, just to talk a little bit about their experience with the program.
Okay.
So thank you,
Okay.
everybody. Awesome. Thanks everyone for watching and for your patience. And now I'd love to invite Giovanna and Jolie up to the podium, and maybe Tony Ann.
Hi, my name is Giovanna Raposo, and I go to Hennessy Elementary School. I am in the 5th grade, and I'm going to be telling you about my experience in the URI SNAP-Ed program. One of the things I learned was about what foods you can ask your parents to buy at the grocery store, and what are healthy snacks and what are not so healthy snacks. I also got to learn and try different recipes, and got to work with different people to learn about different things. I got to take home a paper to submit my very own recipe that I could have a chance of being on the school menu worldwide. I got to learn about people who help out in our community, and that is the Wellness Committee. I got to learn what it is and what it does. The Wellness Committee is a group of people who promote and persuade people to do physical activities and eat healthy foods to keep you in shape. These are the things I learned in the URI SNAP-Ed program, and I really like this program, and I think other kids will like this program as well.
Hi, my name is Jolie Mowry, and I'm from Hennessy Elementary, and I'm one of the students who had the opportunity to be in the SNAP-Ed program. I'm here to explain to you what I've learned in this program. I've learned a lot about persuasive messages and that students taking charge. We as students thought that this program was a great way to learn about physical health. We did a lot of taste testing and communicating on ways to help kids and even parents and guardians about health inside of their homes. Every kid in 5th grade got the opportunity to share a recipe with Mrs. Stephanie. And I've been chosen to have my recipe on the school menu. I chose the veggie stir fry because I thought it had the nutrients, what? Never mind. To all who like to try it, thank you for listening to my experience during this program.
I just want to thank Karen and Stephanie for bringing this opportunity to me. I've worked with Karen before, so there's not much I would say no to if she wants to invite me to take part in something, but it was wonderful. I think for me, it was so nice to see the 5th grade students with the underclassmen and all the younger grades, convincing them to try foods that the adults started out trying to convince them to try. So it was wonderful, and this was done during regularly scheduled health and phys ed classes, so it didn't take time away from the classroom, but Tara Dano and Kirsten Fernandez were very supportive of the program. Mike Salitro really took the reins and did a great job with it. And Chef Bill, who's a frequent flyer at Hennessy, we have him do attendance awards. The kids love him, and he donated a lot of his time to come and did a great job with the program. So thank you for giving Hennessy the opportunity to partner with Karen and Stephanie and Chef Bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, once again, thank you so much to Karen and Stephanie and Principal Napolitano and to our students. Let's give them just one more quick little hand clap, because it takes a lot of courage to come out here and to present. You know, I also wanted to share quickly, unfortunately, Chef Bill was planned to come out this evening, but he wasn't able to make it because he is literally in the cafeteria right now with the MLL event taking place. However, I did feel like it was important to highlight the Discovery Kitchen program. I will say, honestly, I am not the person to talk really in depth. Chef Bill would have been great, but you know, it's a program that through Chartwell's and with Chef Bill's leadership, you know, he's able to go out to all of the schools in the district and put on like kitchen demonstrations for the students, and to really do like an abbreviated version of the Students Take Charge program. It delivers hands-on cooking demos and tastings to spark curiosity. Each month they feature a new theme. It ties together menus, promotions, and nutrition, education. And also it's noteworthy that Chef Bill is really a champion on ensuring that we're using farm-to-school products. So everything from potatoes, carrots, beans, they're all locally grown. So I think that it's really important, and I feel very honored and privileged to be a part of our school district right now as we are continuing to strengthen these relationships and provide these opportunities for our students and the community at whole. And really, I would be remiss if I didn't emphasize and recognize all of the East Providence School Department staff who bring these partnerships to schools. So yes, Karin is really a champion in bringing them to our attention, and community partners like Stephanie are amazing at being able to come out here and deliver. But also it's important that we have principals and we have educators in our school department who are willing to welcome them into their school and to put them on for our students. And lastly, I really wanted to just note a lot of the work that is now being led by Stacy Messier with the Health and Wellness Committee, and to really highlight the importance that she's putting in and the emphasis that our committee's putting in, and I think the emphasis that this school committee is really putting in allowing our students to have their voice heard and applied to their school department, right, in their school district. It started a couple years ago to my attention when we had students become involved with their dress code policy, and now we're allowing students to actually make choices as what they want to see on their school menus. And then having students be able to have the opportunity to join a health and wellness committee, to have, for not only their educational purpose, but to have their voice heard. And I think that's a really great stance that this committee has taken, and in allowing the students to have that opportunity. Lastly, once again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out here this evening, especially our young presenters. Thank you so much for coming up and saying the really eloquent words right there. It was wonderful. And that's it.
Thank you. Next item.
Consent agenda.
I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
PTO, PTA, EPLAC reports.
Next item.
Superintendent's report.
So first item on the list is administrative salary ranges. So a couple weeks ago, I shared a folder with you that had, first of all, we went out and did an APRA request to all the districts in the state. So we reviewed all their administrative salaries throughout the state. That's in your folder. And then from there, as part of the staff hiring policy, the school committee approves salary ranges. So in your packet, you also had, in the folder, you had the 2024 salary ranges, and you have the proposed 2025 salary ranges. And these are for central office and building-based administrative positions. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, anything they want to go over. You also had copies of the contract templates, so we use templates as per the staff policy. And those were also in the folder.
Yeah, Dr. Friend, I just want to share my appreciation for you taking the time of going through that folder, taking the time to talk with me about what was inside that folder, and for the work you put in of looking into other districts' salary ranges to ensure that we were where we should be.
I just want to thank Lynn Fontaine and the HR staff. They went out and requested those from every district in the state and then followed up and then put together that table. So it would be easy for everyone to go through. Any questions on that for me? Okay. The next item that we have under the superintendent's report is the pre-K literacy coach position. So I had mentioned this last meeting. I'm excited to announce that we have a 4-year grant from RIDE, fully funded for a literacy coach to work with our pre-K. So that's a great opportunity. So before you tonight is the job. And since it is a new position, we seek the approval of the committee for that position. So that person will be exclusively working at the pre-K, focused directly on literacy.
You said it's a 4-year grant?
It's a 4-year grant, so it funds the salary, yes. 4. Sorry. Yep.
Through the chair. Just a question on this. The grant written that is for this position, those monies are only applicable to this position, correct?
Correct. Yep, we specifically wrote for the pre-K position. Any questions on the job description? Okay. So the next thing that I would like to speak about is on July 1st, we become eligible again for safety and security money from RIDE up to a $500,000 request that gets reimbursed at our approximately 48% reimbursement rate. So last year, you probably remember that we did the intercom systems at 4 schools, and we'll be finishing up that work this summer. This year, what I'm requesting is that, and with your approval tonight, we'll be able to submit this on July 1st, and we've started doing some of the preliminary work to be prepared to start the work this summer, because everything must be completed by June 30th when you use this type of funding. So what I'm requesting is we're looking at Kent Heights Playground repaving, Orlo Avenue Playground and the parking lot, Orlo Avenue, sorry, I'm trying to read it off. Orlo Avenue underground pipe repair. You know that we had a sinkhole in the parking lot, so we want to repair the pipe and then replace the parking lot completely. Hennessy Playground and parking lot, Riverside Middle School parking lot. So those are the projects. Sorry. So for a total cost of $421,163, we would like to submit this to RIDE on July 1st. Usually takes a couple of weeks to get approval for it, and then we would need to begin the work. The city actually went out to bid on a lot of their paving projects, and they included these projects in their bid for us. So it's off of the state bid list. We also had gotten preliminary estimates on these, which were much higher than what the city was able to get.
That list that you just shared, that list that you shared, is that the order in which they would be addressed?
So we would, I don't know. No, it's not the order in which they would be addressed. I mean, Hennessy is a priority. We would look at, so Danny has been speaking to the company too, so we do have a timeline for the projects. Like Riverside parking lot could be done while school's in session if we can't get to it over the summer, because there's a lot of big projects here. So that, the Orlo parking lot needs to be done, and the pipe repair, and the Hennessy Playground are priorities. So we would hope to have a lot of this work, Danny, done by November, right? And then what they couldn't get through, they'd finish later in the year. So there's a vote on later on the agenda, and with the committee's approval, we'd be able to submit this on July 1st. Okay? Yep.
Question, is there any way we can get, with Danny working on this, what some of the quotes came back in and what the timeline is?
So you have all the quotes in your packet, and all the scope of work?
So that's where that number came up from, that we're gonna go out for?
Correct. So I attached each one individually.
Yeah.
In your packet, I believe you have that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So that explains the scope of work for each of the individual schools and how much each one cost. And then we have the other paving projects in the district ready, but we wouldn't be able to complete all of them before the June 30th deadline, and we can only go out for the 500,000, so
Okay, and if there's any...
that's the max.
If there's any add-ons to that, is there any way you could, or Danny could email the committee? Because those are what we see as we're there. But like that pipe project, whenever you go into ground, I'm sure we got a number for that, but if that number exceeds that, is there any way we can be informed
Yeah,
of that?
we'll keep you informed as we go on. I
Excellent.
mean, I don't anticipate any of the paving projects themselves would go over what but the
Yeah,
pipe
yeah.
repair, and so that is the high end on the pipe repair, depending on how, the run of it, right? Yeah, between 85 and 17, depending on how much of it they have to replace.
All right, nice, thank you.
So we hope to begin this sometime in July, once we get approval from RIDE. Hopefully it'll take a couple of weeks, and then we'd finish working with the architect and have it ready to go.
Is that typical? Wait time, a few weeks? Is that in the past? Has it been?
For a RIDE, a couple weeks probably before they approve it, I would say. I guess depending on how quick we get it in, it'll be ready to go on July 1, we'll submit.
Excellent.
Through the chair, do you anticipate all these being funded, or, and if not, do you have, to Tony's point, what will be the priority? I think you mentioned Hennessy.
Yeah, Hennessy Playground, Orlo parking lot are definitely the two priorities. I anticipate that we'll get the $500,000 in safety money we did last time for the intercoms. So I do think we'll get that. If we don't, we're in the process of working on the stage 2, so they would go into the stage 2 for approval.
And Sandy, I know at Riverside parking lot, that's a must, but there was that little discussion about the sidewalk. Is that included, or do we just?
The sidewalk's not included. I believe some of that's in stage 2, including the wall in front.
Okay, yes, yep.
So a lot of that work would be included in stage 2.
Stage
So we
two,
tried to prioritize based on the highest need.
So for now, it's just that parking lot that really needs to
The
be
teacher's
redone.
parking lot
Excellent.
to the left of the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Next on the superintendent's report is facilities.
Good evening. Here at the high school, we took delivery of the new composting bathroom on May 21st. I'd like to thank the city, DPW, for their assistance in the installation. The bid has come back for the installation of the steel building. We only had one bidder, Duart Corporation, at $49,830. We are looking to award it tonight. Wayne Electric has started today out back to run the electrical, and they agreed to phase their scope of work around the installation process. The start date was June 9th, would be for Duart, and substantial completion on August 25th. And the award is for bid and contract tonight also. Over at Waddington, summer preparations are in full swing to get the construction project going. Furniture and items are being moved once school ends. Construction will be in full swing over the summer with renovations to classrooms, new HVAC, fire alarm system, sprinklers, and classroom cabinetry, sorry. Over at Orla, we got their sign installed. Our maintenance team was able to do that. And we have the district BMS upgrades. At the last facility subcommittee meeting, I had brought Airmasters HVAC in to fully explain the intent and installation process of the new proposed HVAC building management system throughout the district. Cost for these needed upgrades is $780,576. The financing will be projected for the project will be 0% for 5 years through the electric bill. All the contracts are broken up by school building for these upgrades before you tonight in your packets. Some of our summer projects that we'll be handling this year. Here at the high school, we will be repairing some of the vandalism that we had in our bathrooms with sheetrock paint in multiple areas throughout the summer. The steel building work will be being done with an electrical being ran. And with the installation of the building itself, it's projected to be completed mid-August. Over at Orlo, we'll have the window gap repair to begin the week of the 23rd of June. The pipe drainage repairs in July with the ride submission. And the paving of the parking lots, which includes the playground. It actually includes the sidewalks down the side of the school and the front parking lot at Orlo. Hennessy will be paving of the playgrounds, the parking lot, and the alleyway in the back. That is also on the July 1st submission. At Ken Heights, we will be adding a sail shade in the formerly from the Martin Pre-K playground to the kindergarten playground over at Ken Heights. And paving of the playground area, depending on time, it will be either done in the fall or spring to meet our June 30th, 2026 deadline. This will also include the asphalt sidewalks at Myron Francis that are parallel to the building and in the front, and the teacher's parking lot at Riverside Middle School. Replacement of door locks and an addition of convex mirrors around the district that were funded by the trust safety grants I was able to secure will be put in late June, early July. We're looking to have Orlo, White Neck, and Hennessy dishwashers put in by the end of the summer, brand new dishwashers. Francis, Orlo, White Neck, and Silver Spring will be getting their new PA systems this summer. Once school ends, that'll begin. Replace, I kind of got scratched, sorry. Addition of 4 new univentilator heaters that we had started last year. We had 9, we ended up with 4 from the Riverside project. So those will go into White Neck to complete that school with all new univent heaters. Over at Waddington, we'll be adding cabinetry that was requested in the back phase 1 section of the building. We're waiting for those to arrive. We'll be installing those this summer. There's 80 cabinets total. And all in-house projects are projected to be completed before the start of the 25-26 school year. The RIDE-funded projects will extend into the fall and next spring due to the given timeline. I have provided the RFP for the duct cleaning services for approval tonight as well. Lastly, I would like to offer my congratulations to the class of 2025. I wish you all the best. And that will conclude my report.
I'd just like to thank Danny's team for the setup at graduation. I mean, it's a lot of work, and it just looked beautiful, and everything at graduation was perfect, so thank you.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Thanks.
Danny, just a quick follow-up on the outdoor classroom at Silver Spring. You were able to address the tarp issue there, right?
Yes, I
That's
took
all
care of
taken
that yesterday morning. Yep,
Okay.
one of the clips just came off.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We did the whole complete job?
yep.
Is there any way that you keep a timeline on, say, a job like that? How many guys went there, how long it took us? Or could you put, because the reason was we got a number, and I'd just like to use them calculations to see, the more we can get our guys involved with these projects, I believe we don't save hundreds, we save thousands.
Oh, we definitely save thousands.
I think we were looking at maybe $9,000 to put that sign up.
Right.
And this is why I push and I stand behind my guys, our guys, I always will, to see if we, each year, if we got to add a piece of equipment, because as the district goes along, the more we could feed this type of work to our guys, the end result is over a course of a year, we could save thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so we had about 3 guys there, and total maybe 4.5 hours of labor.
All right?
It was
That just goes to show the savings, that if we can get our guys involved with these projects, and that just says it all, Danny.
and an auger rental.
That's what I'm saying, like with the savings, I think it was about $7,000 or $8,000 that we had got a number to put that up. So I want to thank you and the guys for the work on that.
Thanks,
And hopefully we can get them to get involved with some more, Danny. Thank you.
definitely.
I'd also like to thank the city for all the work that they've helped us on recently. They helped with the hole at Orlo, and, anytime we call on them, they're right there. So we appreciate the teamwork between the city and the school department.
Through the chair. Hello.
Right.
Is there any way we could please, this summer or sooner, take a look at all of our playgrounds, since we're looking at paving for mulch? Because
Yep, that's-
we are in need of mulch, and can we get some estimates or some pricing on that, so we can get that done before the school year starts?
Yep, yeah, I'm looking at that. The last time we did it was 2 years ago, and it was
Yes.
about 25,000.
Yeah, well, we can call Playground Mike, and let's just get it over here, so that these
Yep.
kids have some good, safe stuff, because some schools are looking a little rough right now.
Yep,
Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions?
Danny, every year we're supposed to get our playgrounds inspected. We're going to have it done this coming year as well.
Yes, so the trust had a playground certification class that people went through, and they had about 90 people there, and about 16 people actually passed this test. So it was an incredibly hard test. So I will be contacting them. Nobody from the city ended up passing the test, so we all have to retest. Right now, it's under the trust, so I will be having them inspected this in August. It's usually in August, yeah.
On that. All right, excellent, thank you.
Through the chair one more time. Did you really get certified in the playground? Did you take the class on it?
We did, we took the class,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
But nobody passed it because it was extremely hard test.
Okay, well,
There was, I think, 16 out of 90
I'm just
people
pretty
that
happy
passed.
that you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great that, when opportunities like that, even if we're not 100% successful, it just shows the care and the drive that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's very important when, you can bring things like that to us. Thank you for that.
Thanks. What's that? Thank you.
Next is the finance update. I'd like to introduce Alexandra Gonzalez. She is our new Director of Finance. She's been with us a couple of weeks, so welcome. We're very happy to have you.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I just wanted to start off by introducing myself. My name is Alex Gonzalez. My background is specifically in municipal government. So I am new to the school district, so I'm very thankful for the opportunity to start. It's been really lovely getting to know folks and members, building committee members as well, and the rest of the team. It's been really, really gracious. Really great team in the finance department as well. So that's just a little bit about myself. I will try my best to answer any questions that you have. Just being mindful, I did start 2 weeks ago. We have the finance report for June, as of June 6th, and I just wanted to do a quick high-level overview, and then hopefully if you have questions, I can try my best to answer some. Right now, with our salaries, we are at 42% remaining. As well as our benefits, we feel pretty strongly about that we won't go over there. One section that we are keeping an eye on is the 5300 series, the professional and tax services. We're about 7% right now, and Superintendent Sandra and I are keeping a close eye on that moving forward. Other things to note, the property and services line, the 5400 series, we feel pretty strongly about those. We did have a conversation with Dan about the cost of supplies going up, so that's just something to keep in mind for our upcoming budget season, and then possibly a little bit more expensive supplies at the end of the school year. Moving on to the next page. And same thing with the supplies section. However, we're at 27% remaining, so we do feel strongly that that will hold out for the remainder of the school year. We will see a big jump next report because staff, the principals and the staff have been purchasing their supplies for the next school year. So we've approved a whole bunch of requisitions, so I expect to see those purchases go through on the next report. Property, I do see that there is a negative there. I can get more information. I'm not fully up to date and up to speed there. And miscellaneous as well. However, I will make a note that we did receive $200,000 in, I believe we sold a building with the coalition that we worked for, so that has been washing some of these over encumbrances in the property and the miscellaneous lines. That's as far as the report goes. I'm ready for any questions. I'll try my best to answer.
Through the chair. So the money that we received from selling the building in East in Warren, we just put it in this fund, and we're just clearing out what we can?
No, right now, it's just set aside. It's, if you look down at other revenue,
Yep.
it's noted in the other
Yep.
revenue.
Okay.
So we haven't done anything with it.
Again, I seem like I do this every meeting, but, so our substitute salary is negative 31% right now, and we still have all of this a week, and then August, September, October to the 31st. So we're probably gonna reach, I'm gonna guess, probably 50 to 60%. So going forth in our budget next year,
We're gonna have to increase the subline item. We've
we're
had
gonna
a
have to
lot,
make it almost $2 million.
we've had a lot of FMLA this year. Also, we have had a lot more subs and a much better fill rate than we've ever had, so I think we will see less payout in covers. So when we don't have a sub at the secondary level, we typically pay teachers covers, which are $42 for a class. I think we're gonna see a significant reduction in that. So that will offset some of the sub-line item.
The coverages on this we only put 10,000 in, if that's,
I think
both of them.
I don't think it's listed in
Class
coverage.
overage?
I think it's.
Or coverage?
I don't have
Class
that in
overage,
front
I
of me.
guess, is adding
the
more kids to a
additional
class, right?
students,
And then
yep.
it says coverage, I don't know what that is, we're only at 47%. I'm just really concerned that
Yep.
we're gonna hit the $2 million mark with subs.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Is there any other questions?
Welcome. Thank you for coming up here this evening, although you've only started 2 weeks ago. And so maybe this question would be better directed towards Dr. Ferrand. And I know we will be talking about transportation, busing RFPs a little later this evening. However, I was hoping if you might be able to just kind of lay out all of the costs that go into the transportation line item 55111. Basically, and I could be misreading, however, the total cost for 1 year of a bus company is millions of dollars less than what we're budgeting for. And so I was just curious what else goes into that line item.
Can I just see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sheet for 1 second?
Yeah,
I don't have the
we were
financial
talking about
report.
this, and Ryan and
So-
I couldn't come up with an answer.
I think it's because all of the expenses are not calculated yet. We haven't finished, like, usually I think Diana does the quarterly. So I don't think all of the expenses have been encumbered yet. Is that what
So,
you're asking?
I think what he's at, you want me to go?
Yeah.
So we were discussing, and it looks like, so we're at $7 million right
Yep.
now. And then according to this contract, the first one is $3 million. per year, and then almost 4 million, and then 4.2. So we're wondering how we get to 7 million, I think, or was that what we're?
No, it's,
Oh.
so the
Yeah,
estimate, no, the
exactly.
contract, those are the separate sections. So it's still a total, I believe it's 7.4 million, the calculation for next year.
Yes. Yes.
It's not, I think you were looking at, so the 3 million is 71 passenger buses
Yep.
per day, cost per day. Then you have the late buses, which are another 54,900. Then you have athletic and activity buses, which 6,000. So those are all added together. You have special education buses, which are 181,000. So it's the base bid.
It comes out to
It
3.6.
is the base, sorry, it is, from what I understand, it is the base bid, and it doesn't include any ad hoc transportation. So for students that don't live in the district, if I'm understanding that correctly, Sandra. And so that's just what we go out for things that we know that are going to happen. For example, like the late buses and then the regular scheduled buses for students that we have schedules, or Diane has schedules for. What we don't know, and we take an average, is any of out-of-school transports and any ad hoc transportation. That's from my understanding. And so that's why there's such a difference between the RFP calculation. It's really just to get a base bid on transportation costs. And the budget is an average of the actual transactions that happen throughout the year, if that helps.
Again, I think that RFP was very misleading. Unless I had a calculator then and started adding up everything. Those numbers are bold, they're hugely bold on this
I know what you're
paper.
saying.
And so, I mean, hugely. And
Yeah, and like, you know, to kind of what Jess is saying too, like the regular transportation routes, okay, 2.9, late buses, 54,000, athletics 6, out of district 150, you know, you keep doing 180, 38, and then you get to 3.6 million. And so my question really, and it's not like it's, if we're estimating 3.6 million and it includes, you know, special ed buses, summer transportation, athletics, how do we go from 3.6 to over 7?
I mean, Ryan and I talked about this prior to the meeting because we couldn't understand it.
Correct,
Is
but
there
we're,
someone
like,
here
as
to
of right
help
now,
us?
like, for this fiscal year, we budgeted for $7 million, and we're currently at 4.7 million. You know, we have a remainder of 2.6. And so I would just, you know, it just kind of stood out to me that that's a huge variance between what the estimate is versus what the actual is. And so, you know, perhaps just like some further look into that, and then, you know, sharing out some more information within the next couple of weeks to just, so that we can just have a better understanding, because, you know, I felt unfortunately confident that this bus contract was going to increase from what we've had. However, when I saw the numbers of it, compared to what we're budgeting for, it feels like a major decrease, which I'm certain isn't going to be the case, unfortunately. But I was just hoping that, you know, perhaps you might be able to look into it a little deeper and share some more information out.
It's a 3%, I believe it's a 3.5% increase over last year, which we estimate the cost to be 7.4.
Unfortunately, the paperwork that we were given does not say that anywhere.
Does the full
I
contract-
apologize for that. I just followed the same format from the last RFP process that we used 5 years ago, and I apologize if it wasn't as clear. Diana and I worked on it closely. We felt pretty good about the bid. That was the only bid that we received. And unfortunately, she's on vacation, so I don't have the answers for you, but I have no issue circling back and hopefully giving you more details.
Perfect.
Through the chair, if we could get an update next meeting, please.
Any other questions?
Is there a deadline for submission of this contract?
I believe the contract ends on, this current year contract ends at the end of this month. And so we wouldn't have a standard contract for the summer. So I think we have some time to circle back in 2 weeks. Yeah. With any questions. Does that answer? I'm
Perfect.
sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
I just have a comment. If this, with the numbers that we're looking at, I just want the public to realize that's for 1 year. If this goes over, to a 3-year with a 2-year extension, we're in the range of $35 to $37 million. So, I want this council, everybody running with great questions, just to have because once this is done and we roll it over for, a 5-year contract, we're exceeding close to $40 million. That's the number that we're going to be.
40 million over the course of 5 years.
Right, over 5 years, that's it, but that's what we're asking the taxpayers for, so I want to make sure that everybody sitting up here is comfortable with the RFP and the end results of this, because, it's okay to look at it as 1 year, but when you spread it over 5, we're approaching $40 million of taxpayers' money that, once we agree to it, there's no turning back. We can always turn back after the 3 years, but at that point, we're still at, $21, $22 million.
Through the chair. And this is the only RFP that we got. So, like you just said, Tony, this is what we have. So, this is.
Right, and I think by, if we're able to, take some time over the next few weeks and whittle down or beef up the information so that these numbers are just, closer to what we've been spending and what we know we're going to have to spend, but it would give us a more accurate approach when we're crafting this budget.
Through the chair, year 2 and 3 was a 9% increase year over year. Is that correct?
Just another follow-up question. I don't know if we, could we bring anybody from the bus company in if we had questions? Sandy, would you know if we?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, I'll see if they can be here next meeting.
Thank you. That's another way so we can get exact answers, when we ask them. Yep. Thank you.
thank you. Next item.
Policy Committee report, medication policy, second read. Sorry. Policy Committee report, medication policy, second read.
Through the chair. I know I asked a couple of questions last time about this, and I do realize that I neglected to respond to an email request for those same questions. However, I do notice that the additional what I asked at our last meeting was just more clarification. Some more clarity. The paragraph from page 2 that bleeds into page 3, there wasn't necessarily, it didn't say who will be able to distribute. However, upon a closer read, I did want to just point out to the committee that on page 6, I believe, I have both policies with me, so bear with me because I'm on page 6, there is specific language in there that does specify self-administration, I think, which would be applicable to my questions from last meeting about field trips. Additionally, I wanted to ask Dr. Ferrand, how would our families be able to access the consent form? And I'm just thinking ahead. It's page 8 on the medication policy, and so fake example. I send my daughter to school, and she needs to take Tums, and so in order for her to do that, this consent for administration for medication during the school day form needs to be filled out by me, the parent, for her to do so. So my question is how, as a parent, would I be able to quickly access this? And now I'm just thinking in this example, it's like something happens and like within 12 hours she has to go to school. Like what, I can't send her to the school. Is there the form available at like the secretary's desk? Is there an online form available that you could fill out and email to the school? Like how would that process happen for families?
Through the chair. I do know, in past middle school and high school, this is part of the opening packet that you get. So so when I get it, it says, do you have permission, and the medication's listed, and like you could cross off one or say, yes, they can have it all, and that goes right to the school. It's in that packet you get usually the first couple days, and then it goes to the nurse's office. That's,
And then it's like living on file.
yeah.
So therefore, in December, if
Correct.
something like this comes up. Now, is this available to elementary school families as well? I can't remember, to be honest.
I believe it is.
Okay.
I do know that the medications are different. So, like from elementary school to middle school to high school on what can be given by the nurse. So I do know that does change.
And parents can reach out to the nurse, like if something changed, like there was an immediate concern because of something, like you could reach out to the nurse and they could either provide you with the form, or if it was like a doctor's order for medication, you could submit that to the nurse.
Okay.
Through the chair, I might be mistaken, but the policy's online as well,
Yes.
which includes the
Yeah.
form.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it is online. Unfortunately, I think it's, there's a lot of policies, and it's really hard to, like, navigate, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of just thinking ahead of, like, that parent who, you know, it's December 12th, and something happened, and it's snowing out, and, you know, you have a whole bunch of stuff in your life going on, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, how do I ensure this is the case? And I wanted to ensure that, you know, our district is, you know, doing what we can to just make it easy for families, you know?
Any other questions with regards to this policy? Hearing none, next item.
Field trip policy, second read.
Through the chair. Can one of you, from the policy committee, tell me what was changed or added?
Since the first read,
Yes.
nothing. It wasn't changed. I didn't get any feedback.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I don't think we did.
No. Prior to this, it was all highlighted with the changes.
Any questions with regards to the field trip policy? Hearing none. Oh, go ahead, Tony. Yep, go ahead.
Instances on our field trips or anything?
Like of what nature? Just any problems?
Yeah, like, anything you would want, like suspensions, anybody doing things wrong that I haven't heard of, so I
No.
think the policy, I think, you know, when we let these kids go on the trips, I think I've been hearing some really good response from them.
Yeah.
Other districts, that I hear, they let these kids go on a field trip, and it just turns into a horror show.
Yeah, no.
So, I want to thank our staff and everybody, and especially on the field trip. That's important when we put our students on these buses and let them leave, you know, the really safetiness of our school district. So I want to thank everybody involved with this, and everybody, every teacher that's involved with taking our kids off these property.
It's
They do a
really,
great job.
and it's really important for our students, because a lot of our students wouldn't get these opportunities otherwise. And, I mean, there's been some really great trips and some
Yep.
great opportunities for students. So I am very appreciative of staff when they take them out. So I agree with you.
Next item.
Building committee report.
Over at Martin, ceilings, floors, paint, and millwork are continuing daily. A permanent power has been brought into the building to feed the new HVAC units and lighting. That's being installed. Exterior facade is being wrapped up. The work continues in the gym, auditorium, as well as the chorus and band rooms. Preparation for curbing and roadways is being done. The north field is being graded to its final height. And this summer will be the big push to get everything in place for the November changeover. At Waddington, final preparations are being made for the movement of all school items. Work continues daily and weekends. Packing has begun. The former boiler room is now the electrical room. This work was able to be completed earlier without disruption to education. The construction is set to kick off on the 17th of June, starting with the removal of the ceilings and work in the rear of the building curtain wall. We have been approved by Rhode Island DEM for the water mitigation work also.
Anyone have any questions?
Question, and through Sandy too, I wanted to bring this up yesterday, but when this project gets a little closer and we find out, hopefully we're gonna have some extra money on this project, can the committee know about that sooner rather than everybody put their wish list in? Because I would like to put on my wish list that we could get a one-man personal lift due to the height of that cafeteria, which is gonna be beautiful, but it seems like, at this high school, we had, $7 million left over. It came to the school committee, we approved it, but I think as a sitting body that was all elected to sit here, I think we may have, a couple ideas where if there is any money left over, which I hope there is, we can just put it. One, I think, would be, I know we got some really nice, 2- and 3-man lifts, but they're a nightmare to transport and operate. A nice one-man lift to deal with both these buildings, I think would be really good, Danny. So I'll just keep that in my mind, but just to trot it out to us guys, so on that, yes. That's what I'm saying, something like that.
We
here.
actually have one here.
Yep. Thank you, Danny.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you, Danny. Next item.
Public comment?
Okay, thank you. So I don't know if you guys saw in the news recently about a coach having to go to trial because students spoke up about inappropriate behavior. Unfortunately, the coach got a lesser charge. And I know back in 2018, we had an incident with the wrestling team in New York, to which when they went on the news, I had made comments on Facebook saying this is not the first time. And my comments were deleted. So I'm just letting you all know that in the 2001-2002 wrestling season, I was also sexually assaulted by another student in front of 2 coaches and approximately about 25 other students in the wrestling room in the old high school. Not only was I assaulted sexually, but I was also beaten up, repeatedly threatened by students, and many other things have occurred. I also have a permanent injury to my shoulder because we practiced full Nelsons for almost every practice those 2 years, those last 2 years of high school. And I didn't find out until 2005 that when I was on the wrestling team for Springfield College that the full Nelsons were illegal because I got yelled at by another teammate and my coach, my wrestling coach in college, that full Nelsons were illegal. And full Nelsons have been banned since 1911, if I did my research correctly. I also didn't find out till 2005 that the sexual assault was what it was, because I explained to another teammate at Springfield College what had happened to me here at East Providence High School during those last 2 years that I was here. So not only that, but when I was on a football team, I was also sexually harassed by coaches as well. Not all of them, just some of them. So with that being said, I know there's a bill that the North Kingston kids try to pass to remove the statutes of limitations. So I don't know if my time, I can't press charges, but if we can get the bill passed, which is the 2648 bill, Senate bill, if we can pass that, because I would love to press charges against my former coaches. And I also am not the only student athlete, because I've had other student athletes who graduated before, during my time, and after I graduated. I graduated in 2003, who have also been sexually assaulted or harassed as well. And there's other coaches besides football and wrestling as well that were involved. So I'm gonna leave that up to those other students to come forward, but I figured I'd start it here. So that's where I stand on that.
I'm sorry, could you just state your name just for the record? Because I
June
didn't see-
Cohen, June Cohen, C-O-A-N.
Thank you.
Yes.
Renee Ignacio.
Good evening. All right, so tonight, again, I'm here as a taxpayer, so I wanted to say that first I saw that bus cameras were up for discussion, which I'm glad, it's about time. So I'm wondering if it's on the agenda now because you all saw the news video from Channel 10 that I posted on Facebook about the Warwick schools launching bus patrol on their buses, or was it the part in the month of May that North Providence issued 49 citations, making their school district $12,000 in 1 month that went to the company, the state, and the districts? So this right here is telling me that we see the money that's already could be coming into the city for their percentage. Since the program is free to the taxpayers to install, I don't understand why the delay for the council. I do understand the reason why someone, or as I may not understand the reason why someone would want to hold up this program. I've heard that the mayor has been holding this up for the past 3 months. That is a problem for me. I know he's holding it up for more money to be given to the city because we only get mandated by a certain percentage. That's by the state. No one else can change that. I don't know why he's doing it, but that's ridiculous. So let me remind you that in your 2025 EP school bus transportation RFP, page 10 under checklist outside cameras, you have yes. Page 19, section 4.6, the outside stop camera system is also stated. On page 22, under section 4.7, letter U, cameras are listed again. I'm disappointed in the actions of the school committee, the school department for letting this drag on as long as they have and not fighting harder for a simple and valuable program. Politics have no role in this, and you all should be ashamed you have allowed to let this happen at the expense of keeping our kids safe, your grandkids safe. I have to acknowledge what was said by the acting superintendent of the Warwick School Department. The safety of our students is non-negotiable. The school bus is an extension of our school community, and we are committed to protect our children every step of the way. Those are what he said. For me, exactly what he said is what I say every day when I go do my job. So when people tell me to calm my passion down, this is just a job, don't get so involved, or people come to my van and I have students on board, this is my job to protect them. They feel safe with me, they trust me to keep them safe every day, and this is why I fight for my kids on my van, on my buses, and even when I see them in the streets. These kids may not have anybody but me. That's what I came to say today, because this has been how many months, and now Warwick has already gotten them before us, and started a little less than us. So that's all I had to say about it. Thank you.
Next item.
Discussion action items. Update on when summer facilities projects will start and finish. Mr. Ferrera.
Danny, we kind of hit that going back a little bit, so if we can just get like the list that you have, if you could send that to the whole committee. I know it's.
It should be in the packet.
No, I'm saying like any projects that our guys are gonna be doing. In other words, I just want to try to track all the summer projects that we're doing, start dates, end dates, and when we're gonna do the walkthroughs. So however you wanna, we can interpret that, but just let this committee and myself.
Yeah, I can put that together for our next subcommittee meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just important, Danny, that, because like I said, down at Waddington, a lot of the work that got done last year, when we did that quick walkthrough a couple months ago, they're gonna try to catch some of them defects this coming summer.
Yeah, they're gonna do a 10-month walkthrough.
Right, we just wanna try to say, but in other words, everything that, some things frustrate me, like something that should have been caught the first month when, or something should have been caught when it was being installed. We didn't catch it the first year, we're catching it at 10-month walkthrough. I just want to try to eliminate some of that. I think a lot of, when we, in our industry, we do the 10-month walkthrough, that's for minor wear and tear and stuff. It's not stuff that was put in wrong from day one, and then we let it go for 10 months, Danny. No offense to you, it just, I want to try to get a better set of eyes on it.
Yeah, I think this summer hopefully is less of a rush than last year. Last year was kind of insane to get everything back into the school and running around to get everything ready for the beginning of school, so.
Yeah, and no, like I said,
even
even when we did that walkthrough, at Martin, yes, it was, we're doing much, much better at that facility. I think it has a lot to do with, the company that we did fortunately get to do that job versus here. So, they are doing a great job there. I think if we stay on track, schedule the flip over the first Monday after Thanksgiving of this year, still looks doable. So I think everything's going on pretty decent over there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Through the chair, Danny, if I could, from my perspective, if you could just provide us with a simple Gantt chart, something, one-page document that we can just look at that and.
Yeah,
it'd be
no problem.
much simpler for us to follow,
Yep.
please. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Danny. Next item.
Bus camera update.
So just a brief update here from the mayor, because yes, the administration is involved with the bus cameras. This is the letter that I had received that I'm going to share here with the school committee and the public. Dear School Committee Chairman Lewis and fellow school committee members, I am aware that there is interest among the school committee to enter into contract for a bus public safety enforcement program. It's my understanding and my belief that you will see changes in the state enabling legislation that allows for bus stop enforcement cameras. I strongly urge you and the school committee to postpone approving any contracts until the General Assembly passes a new bill, H5421A and S0568. Additionally, any contract which requires law enforcement activities and dedicated man-hours by the East Providence Police Department needs to be fully vetted by the police chief, his staff, and the administration before we enter into any agreement. Sincerely, Mayor De Silva. So that's where we stand. Despite what you hear, this school committee, I believe, is ready to go. I know myself and Tony have had numerous conversations about this. This is really the hang-up right here. There's a negotiation going on. I know that the administration has met with Bus Patrol, and this is where we're at. My feeling, my personal feeling is, of course, I want to make sure that our East Providence Police Department is taken care of on this matter. That's the way it's been done in the past. They've been compensated through the contracts before, and yeah, that's exactly where we're at. So if there's any questions, I can try to answer them.
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
can you forward that email or that
Yeah,
letter to
absolutely.
us? Because did
Yeah,
you just get that?
I got that today, yeah.
Okay, because
Yep.
I'm not aware of that, so thank you. That,
Yep, I can forward that.
especially if it goes to all of us, I'd like to be able to read it and look it over, because I was unaware of any of that
Yep, I can
was
send it over
happening.
to you.
So, yeah, once I read the letter, I'll digest it a little more, so thank you.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't have much awareness on that. I thought, and Dr. Friend, I'm sorry for not knowing, the contract for the new transportation company, is it the same company we have, or is that a different company?
For the cameras or for
For
the buses themselves, it's the same company. But we had to go through the RFP process also to make sure that we were going to use the same bus company before we even move forward with the cameras. So we do have some cameras on the buses. We have about 10 cameras currently on our buses through a different vendor, not Bus Patrol. So again, like there were steps. We needed to do the RFP for the bus company. We needed to approve that so we knew which bus company we would be using. And now we've vetted the Bus Patrol company. We've met with multiple companies. And now the city needs to approve it. School department does not get any of the funding right now from those cameras based on current legislation. So, and the city is responsible for all the work that goes along with the cameras and issuing the tickets.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I share the same concern as many members in our public that, you know, money aside, it's the most important part of this whole process is ensuring safety and elevating safety standards. It seems really unfortunate that if we're now in this holding pattern, because we're talking finances, I would really like to see like this committee in our district be able to open up next school year with cameras on all of the entire fleet.
That's the current plan.
Yeah,
And again, we needed to have a bus company before we decided to
And
install the cameras.
absolutely.
So there were steps in the process that needed to be done before we
sure.
approved a camera company. It didn't make sense to install cameras on buses for a month when we didn't know if that would be the bus company. And they also, we have talked to them. They do believe that they'll be able to install them this summer on the buses. So once we approve the bus contract and the city finishes up what they need to do, then we should be able to get them installed.
Yeah,
And that's the same sentiment echoed through the administration as well.
And
This
then
will
do
be
we-
done
do we-
before the school
Do we know
starts.
when this current session ends?
The end of this month.
The end of this month?
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
So we anticipate that will come through either way soon.
Yep, and that's the administration's anticipation as well, that this will all be taken care of and be installed before the school year starts.
Through the chair, that's certainly the goal.
Yeah, of course.
I just have if somebody could follow up with a question. So we're waiting for something for that bill to pass in order for the mayor to approve a company to put cameras in a bus? Am
I think the portion with the mayor, obviously twofold, right, to your point, waiting for that bill to pass, but also to negotiate compensation for the officers. They're gonna be renewing it. The way I understood it was the previous contract with the company that we had prior, they were compensated overtime for the officers. That was part of the contract. So I think that's what's being discussed currently, is that portion of it.
All right, because due to some of the numbers that's out there, that's not, it doesn't seem to make sense. Like, if what Renee just said was correct, that North Providence, I didn't get a chance to look into North Providence, but some other districts I did, the money that the state gives back to the city would cover the research for these tickets.
It's a little, through the chair, it's just a little bit more involved than people may realize. In Rhode Island, there's very specific laws, so these tickets have to be printed by a police officer.
Correct.
They have to be reviewed by, the videos have to be reviewed by a police officer. It has to go to the Rhode Island Tribunal, so there's very specific language in the law currently, which kind of bogs everything down and, requires, a significant commitment from our police department. So we have to make sure that everyone's on board, all our stakeholders.
I disagree with that to the point that where there are other communities that are really pushing to get this done. They don't seem to be waiting for this law or whatever is running through the state. If you put our kids' safety, first, that doesn't fall on, the students that are waiting at a bus stop, getting on a bus, somebody goes by a bus dash with the stop arm out, and then we're looking to negotiate to try to raise more money for the city. I'm not justifying it. Is there any proof that the revenue from the tickets doesn't cover the police investigation into that? Or is it just looking to because,
Not to my knowledge.
because I heard some of the systems that are out there are so sophisticated that AI computers throw out 75% of the tickets, where years ago, I think maybe even the company we're using now, if there's 80 violations today, somebody has to look through all 80 of them. I believe Bus Patrol may have it. There's one other company, I think, in the country that uses AI that if the camera looks at 80 tickets, it would throw out 70 or 80% of them that don't meet that criteria. So if that stop arm wasn't fully extended, that would automatically throw that out, where we don't need a human officer to look at.
I believe that's correct.
So I find it hard to say that with technology and somebody looking at that,
Through the chair, a police officer still, according to our law, has to look at that ticket. And if that arm is not fully extended, if we
Correct.
cannot show on video at the tribunal that arm is fully extended, the tribunal judge is
Throw
going
it
to
out.
throw it out.
Yes, yeah.
But a police officer does have to review it. We cannot bypass that. But according to Bus Patrol, they've made significant improvements in technology, and they assure us that they're only going to send us violations that have been vetted. So it'll be vetted by AI, and it'll be vetted by a human at Bus Patrol. Then it goes to our police department for them to vet as well, and then issue a citation.
But that would take out roughly 80% of what the original thing was. That's what I'm saying. With the technology today, an East Providence officer wouldn't get a package of, say, 80 tickets today. It would get whatever is through AI, through the Bus Patrol, might drop that down to 30. That's the only ones that we would say that officer would have to sign off, go to tribunal and say, these are the violations. That's what I'm saying, with the revenue at $250 a ticket, I just find it hard to believe that there wouldn't be enough money right now to make that happen. But I'm in favor fully of whatever it takes, even on weekly updates, Sandy, to get this on these buses, for this coming school year.
I have no problem inviting the administration to our next meeting.
Yep.
To answer any of the questions we have.
Yeah,
That's not a problem at all.
And keep in mind, they still have to work out,
No.
they have to work out who's gonna review these, is that on a daily basis, and so they have to figure out all those details as well, but if we achieve our goal of having these installed on buses for the beginning of the school year, which I think that's what we're all on
Yeah.
board, I think we're gonna get there.
The mayor has expressed extreme confidence that that's the case, that that's going to happen in the fall. So I have no problem following up, and like I said, if it pleases the committee, we can invite him here to answer any of our questions and concerns.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve pre-K literacy coach position.
I'll make a motion to approve, but I just want to ask a question. Will this go into the union for it will be submitted inside first internally? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve medication policy, second read. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve field trip policy, second read. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve RFP for ventilation system cleaning services. Through the chair, I just had a quick question. Are we going to require any testing prior and then testing afterwards, you know, particulate testing? I'm just curious if we do something like that. Is it just a visual?
I think they would provide an air quality report after they clean it, and they usually measure the flow rates and everything.
Yeah, I would assume that. I just wanted to ask, though. Thank you.
And Danny, they would submit that to you?
What's that?
You would get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Projects that if we can just get a start date and an end date, so we can hold them to it, so it don't roll into school. Because I believe they said they can get that done this summer.
With approval tonight, and then RFP, whatever bids we get back, you probably, if we could get it, if bid goes out, hopefully we could get it for the next meeting approved. It's a possibility that we might be able to get some done this summer. It's every school, so it just depends how far we go into the summer. It would determine. I think we could still get it done.
Could we add that into that? In other words, you know, like when we put that out, we request that it be done. So say a company that's got 1 or 2 people may not want to reply to it versus a company that has 5 or 8 or 10 that could guarantee getting it done.
Right, yeah, we could deadline it and
Yeah.
see what comes back for bids.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, Tony, just, no, you're good. Thank you. Just looking at it on page 2, it notes that the projected award date would be July 15. So, you know, it would be close.
Yeah.
But this is just an RFP to see what the bids come back at. And so with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve EPHS field trip to New York in December 2025.
I just want to make a quick note here. Hats off to Ms. Silva for putting this through, because this is for a field trip in December, and it was submitted in May. So we're looking at about a 7-month lead time here, and, you know, just appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to.
It's a great plan.
I read the whole field trip wrong, so Ryan's just making me feel even worse. So, yeah, I will make a motion to approve for them to go to see one of the top 5 orchestras in the world perform, which is pretty amazing.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve Chartwell's food service contract for 25-26.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a hard time reading that. Just wanna put that out there. So, sorry, through the chair.
Yeah.
Is it a 2.8% increase? Am I reading that right?
That's how I read it.
I really had a hard time reading this one. So I just need some kind of verification that
I
it's
read it as a
2.8 increase.
Alex, is it a 2.8 increase? Did you see?
Okay, I make a motion to, then to hold this until, table this, because unless any of you can explain it to me.
I read it the same way as a 2.8 increase.
Yeah, and I had, through the chair, I had another question. One of the projections I was looking at said that the breakfast projection was gonna grow 12% over 25, and I was just wondering, what does that do to? Is that like an enrollment, anticipated enrollment, increase in enrollment?
I have it electronically, the information.
I can get clarification on the questions, bring it back.
So I will make a motion to table until the next meeting, just so that we have some kind of clarification.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve administrative salary ranges.
Through the chair. So the Rhode Island School Committee Association also has the information where you can get the salary ranges, and we're not out of the ballpark. We're right there. So I am going to make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve award RFP for bus transportation. Through the chair, I wanted to ask if we could add a cap on the fuel surcharge. I realize that they're propane, but there's still a cost for fuel, so there's no cap on that. I'd feel more comfortable with one.
Yeah, and, due to kind of, our questions from earlier, I know that we are already in June for this to go through, but it would really be beneficial for, I think, this committee to have like a more specific, detailed numbers. And so, with that, I'm going to make a motion to table this to our next meeting.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to award RFP for steel building installation. Through the chair, just so you're aware, I think there was a couple of typos. I think it lists Air Masters incorrectly instead of Duar Corp. right in the beginning of the document. And just a spelling typo where 100 is spelled wrong, but no, I just made a note of it, but I don't. I believe right in the top of the document you see the. But other than that, I'd make a motion to approve.
May I have just one question, please?
Go ahead.
I've learned from Tony Ferrer that, it says the work will be completed by this and then fully completed by this, but is there a clause in it that says if it's not completed by this? Okay, I didn't find it, so, okay. I thought it would have been on the front where it said that. Okay, perfectly, thank you.
I'm sorry, was there a motion?
I made a motion to approve.
Is there a second? And I seconded, Dave. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Just quickly, I just wanted to point out page 6 of the contract, paragraph J, has the sum of $1,500 per day.
You guys are confusing me. That was the RFP, right? Okay, yep, so number 12. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve contract for steel building installation. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve energy management system upgrade.
Through the chair, I had a question on this.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for touching on this earlier in your report. However, bottom paragraph of the memo, total cost of the project, 1.1. We receive a total of 400,000 worth of electric and gas rebates from our energy. The balance, 700,000. We pay back over 5 years at 0% interest, as Mr. Carpenter pointed out. Creates a monthly charge of $11,000 to begin on utility bills, again, pointed out. The last sentence, the school department can request reimbursement from the city capital revolving fund once a year to cover this expense. Is that something that we will be doing to pay for this?
Yeah, so we'd like to try and get it into the budget if we can, but if not, it could come out of capital. If you remember last year when we did our budget presentation, this was the #1 capital improvement project that we needed. This allows us to control the heat and air conditioning in all our buildings. So it's really essential that we get this. So if we can put that money into the regular budget, if we have the money, we will. If not, really the interest on the $3 million would pretty much cover it year to year, because it is 0% financing.
Just a question, Danny, I don't know if we may have the answer. By going with this system, I know it should make the builders more comfortable.
Correct.
Then is there an analogy on a cost savings? In other words, to invest, say, $480,000, is there any type of savings that this program we would be looking at, or is it just?
The savings reflected on the cost already. It was up at 1.14, I think, and all the cost savings have already been implemented into it. I think it came out to 780.
Well, through the chair, I think he's asking what the return on investment will be, based on energy savings, potentially.
Through the system itself. It's more of the actual control of the building.
Should make it more
You
efficient,
will be able to
right?
control your units more, because right now it's kind of on and off at this point. With full control of the units, you can regulate your temperatures at night. So say if you're running 68 during the day, you could have everything programmed to go down to 60 at night, so you're not using as much energy. Everything can be more automated the way it's supposed to be. So you should see some energy savings and gas savings, I would think.
So the question I have, Danny, like right now, if we went into a classroom and there's a 15-degree difference, is this going to help with any of those issues, or is this just going to help monitoring the overall boiler running?
It'll help per classroom, yeah. So they're mainly monitored nowadays by CO2 levels. So the higher the CO2 level, your outside air damper will open and bring in fresh air and to keep the temperature what it's regulated at. So everything needs to work in unison, and that will work to control everything.
So when you see the windows open in the winter because the one classroom is so hot, like, we hope this eliminates it. So we expect to see some better energy efficiency in the schools, because we'll be able to control room to room.
You'll have individual control, because right now we have barely any individual control. So it's a loop system, so everything just loops around, and the closer to the boiler room, the hotter it is.
I hate to even ask this question, but Sandy was here. Is this similar to like when we did the Johnson control and each classroom was with a thermostat and everything, or is this just being attached to the boiler?
No, this is
Every
per
classroom.
room, full setup on a computer with full control of the whole district. It's based off what we have here. So you can go right into the unit, see all the mechanicals of the unit, adjust your dampers, check your filters, any sensors in the unit, your fan speeds, your flow rates, everything could be adjusted throughout the system.
But I understand all that, and I fully agree with all of that. The only reason I'm questioning is, we did a $6 million project in a mill, and it was misleading because the tenants couldn't adjust it. So all it did was do our boiler, ran much more efficient, but we still had tenants that were 20-degree difference, and the boiler worked 120%, all computerized. We found ourselves going back to the old way, mechanically opening valves when the classroom was 20-degree difference. That's the only thing that I want somebody to state, that is that what we're gonna also be eliminating. So our classrooms would be, if a classroom, if it's set at say 68, we would be monitoring at 68, give a 2 or 3 degree fluctuation of 4.
Yeah, it's usually a 5-degree swing.
All right, 5 degree, yep.
So it's usually, say, 68 to 73 degrees,
Yep.
and you have that 5-degree fluctuation. So with schools that have air conditioning, Obviously, some of ours don't. So, like, you would go, if it gets higher than the set point, so you have your set point. So if you're at 68, your highest set point, like Waddington, say, if it goes past 72, it automatically kicks the AC on to bring it back down to 68. So it works back and forth with heat and AC.
That's what I was gonna say, Waddington, where we got the new energy efficient windows, which are gonna be great.
Right.
That's half the building, so that's gonna balance it all out, so the classrooms, even the ones with brand new windows, would be just as comfortable as the ones with the older windows.
Right.
In Trinity School.
That's what we're looking to do, exactly.
Excellent. I hope that plan comes together, because that'd be a big thing for the district, learning-wise, for teachers to be more comfortable, students to be more comfortable. That's gonna be big. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve contract for energy management system upgrade.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Consider a vote to approve request for safety upgrades to RIDE.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consider a vote to approve update building committee membership.
So this is just to add our new finance director to the building committee and take Craig Enos off. That's the only change that's being made.
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Does anyone have any announcements?
I have an announcement. I'd like to congratulate the girls lacrosse team. They won the Division III state championship. They were undefeated this season on Sunday. It was a great game to watch. They beat Smithfield for the 4th time this season, which is very hard to do. They ended up holding them scoreless in the second half and won the game 14-7. So it was a great game, and it was just a great game to watch. The girls to see just the celebration after the game, and then they had a police escort back from both Providence and East Providence, and then our police and fire department was waiting here when they got here. So it was a great day. Alyssa Karalikis has led the team in scoring. She scored her 100th goal a couple of games ago. So congratulations to her, but also congratulations to the team. It's a great group of young women, and they just made us very proud.
So I just, as a mother of a child on that team who was ecstatic about this season, not only did that team, it had our valedictorian was on the team, and the girl 3rd in the class, Abigail Letty, was on the team. So not only were they athletic and amazing young ladies, they are smart. I just want to give a huge shout out to the teachers, the city officials that were there, the amount of parents, the amount of students that came back to watch it, old lacrosse players. It was townie pride, and it was loud. It was just an amazing, it's probably one of the best days of my life this year because of the amount of people that came out to support those girls, where sometimes girl sports get overlooked. During the season, we had like 6 people out there, so watching, all parents. But to see that amount of energy, I just want to give a huge shout out to the East Providence community. It was big, so thank you. On that note, I do have an announcement, if you don't mind. Okay, I wrote it down. Okay, I wanted to follow up regarding the recent cancellation of the school committee meeting. It has come to my attention that alone, I may have canceled that meeting in May. The decision to cancel the meeting was made based on a consensus among the majority of school committee members. As per subsection 9 under Article 2, meetings which falls under school committee bylaws, any regular meeting may be postponed or canceled by the majority vote of the entire committee. As well as referencing Article 2, Section 2, individual committee members have no authority to act on behalf of the school committee. Therefore, after discussion on current priorities prior to that meeting, it was determined that there were no urgent matters requiring immediate attention that week. Please know that myself, and I'm going to speak for the school committee at this point, please know that the decision was made in good faith with respect for everyone's time. We remain committed to transparency, accountability, and the best interests of students, staff, and community. As much as I would have liked to have been that great one person that could cancel a school committee, that is not true. I was hurt by the even person that put it on Facebook and decided to make social media for my daughter to read and for other people to read. It's inappropriate. Get your facts right. Once you get your facts right, you can come talk to me. Thank you.
No, I second what Jessica just said, and I'm sure you're aware, I think I sent you a screenshot that I put that out on social media, that in fact there were 3 school committee members, not 1, that were unable to attend that week for various different reasons. So just to clear up that false statement that was made on one of the Facebook pages. Thank you for bringing that up.
And so I'm just going to change and make a really positive note. Prior to coming in here, the multilingual language learner that Uniza Gallant put on the 2025 celebration was started at 5:30. We had to be here at 6 o'clock. The keynote speaker started to speak, and as many of you know, I was late. Oh my God. She was amazing, and I'm going to pronounce her name wrong. Can you say it right? Delaria. What is it? Delara. Amazing. A former student and now in Providence College, double majoring in math and something else and something else. It just was phenomenal. So, Uniza, kudos to you for what you do and for what you just put on in there. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything they want to announce? Ryan, excellent job with that presentation today. I thoroughly enjoyed that. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. I'll second.
All those in favor signify